let's talk about crime. And let's talk about crime honestly. I'm the only one in this race who's ever actually sent anybody to prison. I'm not a criminologist. I was a federal prosecutor. I've been in those courtrooms. I've made those charging decisions. I've had to evaluate that evidence and test it in court. I've had to comfort victims. I've represented victims. Thanks to the newspapers you now know, my family and I have been victims of violent crime. I know, and like anybody does who's grown up in a neighborhood like the South Side of Chicago, with crime all around us, what the impact is and how devastating that is on families and on people in communities. I don't need to be lectured to by anybody, but I'll tell you something else. And I have done one other thing. I've done one other thing. I have also, on occasion, represented the unsavory defendant, and you better be glad somebody stands up and does that. Because that is what puts the justice in our justice system. You gotta ask yourself, if Carrie Healy had ever read that Constitution she's sworn to uphold, maybe she wouldn't be slandering those of us who do it. So let's really talk about crime. Let's talk about crime, and let's talk about it seriously. There are up to 700 fewer cops on the beat, thanks to the fiscal policies of this administration. Guns are flooding across our state lines, and gang violence is soaring. Carrie Healy touts the sex offender registry as a centerpiece of her public safety ideas, and then they veto the funds for it and refuse to appoint the staffing for it. If I had Carrie Healy's record on public safety, I'd want to change the subject too. Because fear is poisonous. All through history, it's been used to hold back progress and limit fundamental fairness. Only hope defeats fear. It always has. At a candidates forum last week, the moderator asked each of us to say something nice about the other candidates. Carrie Healy rather grudgingly said, "Well," she said about me, "he can give a good speech." And she would know this not because she's ever actually attended a speech of mine, but because she sends a nice gentleman around, and he's here somewhere, I'm sure, to film everything. He does. He's a nice guy. And he films me. But her dismissive point, and I hear it a lot from her staff, is that all I have to offer is words. Just words. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. Just words. Just words. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. Just words. Country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Just words. I have a dream. Just words. Let me say it before any of you do. I am no Dr. King. I am no John Kennedy. I am no Franklin Roosevelt or Thomas Jefferson. But I do know that the right words, spoken from the heart with conviction, because of a vision of a thing beyond our reach and a faith in the unseen, can be a call to action. When you and speak them as a call to action, as a time to take back our civic and political life, as a time to stop acting like partisans and start acting like citizens again.